Right, here we are. Hello, stream. I actually can't really see what you guys are saying. Oh, that's what you guys are saying. So, I'm not going to explain this again, because I don't feel like it. But here we have what I see. So, up into the top left, you'll see, like, what I'm really following on. Teach myself code. So, that's, like, my TV is actually in the top right, and it's just very weird. Right, my computer, down bottom, is where we're going to do for the main code, which is why I decided to put that down there. Great. I'm going to hope you find my mouse. And then we'll get started. There's a problem with it when I put my mouse. That's fine. I'm not sure you'll need to like click that much. Or the scroll wheel. I definitely going to need those, but don't worry, I have little things to get around them. So let's create a project. Let's create a project after forgetting I made it. Closing project. No. Okay, new project. Universal 3D. Project name. I'll start with, is it going to be 3D or 2D? Because for all you know, I might want to make a 2D video or 3D video. Right. Based on what it says up here, scripting audio animation, I think I'm going to try and make a 3D, traditional 3D game. You can hear traditional 3D game. So, in the best, so I need an idea. I need ideas. Most people probably going to know what's on the chat, so I might as well the chat in the top left, you know, while we're thinking. So, to get the style, why, most people probably, right, let's mute that thing. Right. Right, oh, goddamn, nope, you guys don't see my history. Uh-oh. I'm not actually keeping the age. You guys would stop and watch this one. Oh! Oh, it's horrible. I think I clicked off it pretty quick. That never like. Right, anyway. I need to think of how I'm going to do this. What games I want to play, and what do I like? This is going to be hard. Guys, I've got a good idea. Start a stream 3 months, but I'm not. Right, here's my idea. But instead of just sitting around being boring, you need to do a couple of things. Number one, you need to think of a game idea. Anything, use anything, I don't really care. As long as you make the game idea, and then think about what we're going to do with the idea. So I was just watching Mario games. Mario Kart, Mario 3, Mario 2D. But I feel like platformers have been done too much. I don't want to do a platformer. Early game genres have been done a little bit. Like a little bit. A little bit too much. But I feel like we can adapt it into our own style. Actually, I've got a good idea. So I just looked over my desk and I found my Gorilla Tag trading cards. What if we made a game where you had to collect cards and then you use those cards to do stuff? So there's an RPG. Okay, I need to write this down. Okay, we need to write this down. What is it with my mistake? Always getting weak every time I do a stream. Last time it was my face, this time it's my name. No, okay. That'll be always my name at the end of the stream. Right. Man, there's no one in chat. Isn't that lucky? And yes, it's lucky. There's actually no one in chat. Wait. I think I have my idea. Oh, what the? Right. Dude, right. Ideas. Here's my first idea. Nothing. I'm black. No. So I want to make an RPG. An RPG. I want cards. And I want puzzles. Those are currently my three main ideas. If I want an RPG with cards and puzzles, that would probably be like a top-down 2D game. Should we make it like a normal 3D game? Do you want to like a game camera? Actually, how about we make it like the new Pokemon? Yeah, how about we make it like the new Pokemon? Oh, but this way. Right. Like Pokemon. Wait, what is this game called? I've got it. Right. Somewhere on the Switch. Right. Got it. Pokemon Violet. No, I don't have Scarlet. I like Pokemon Violet. That one's my little Pokemon Violet. Right. So, what are we gonna like? So, is that so? Here's an idea. Is that it is a board game. No. How about instead of just playing yourself, like no. Pokemon's no, not sponsored. I can only go through if we can't see whatever I'm doing. It's just a boring stream where I'm just trading random stuff. You didn't see anything. Right. So I want to bring a custom color. Just, I think I'll find light below. I like this color. What is this color? Right. And keyboard. The best things for me is the idea change. The idea can be sectioned into small areas, which I don't know, like different places. So you have, so ideas can split very into different places. The brainstorm, which is basically what we just did, but I might as well move it somewhere right now. So, whoosh, oh, Control C, Control X. That's the easiest way to do this stuff. Right, and then I Control V it. Right. Next, now we've got a bunch of brainstorm stuff. We need reference images. So, or I put images first. So, common file. For some reason I can't just get this open. British Hat, British Farm. Copy on. Copy. Dude, don't this that not be? Okay, it's okay. Right, delete that. Then again, this massive image. Okay, step one is in scales and strategy. This scale tool. Okay, next step. Put up the button. An arrow. Okay. So kind of thinking actually move on a little bit. I'll do Pokemon now. So, oh, I know what we're doing. That might be good. Which is inspiration, which is Intel. So, we're going to use the simple puzzle. We're going to use that as like a reference that we want puzzles a bit like Undertale. Right, another line, and you can just one from here. Yeah, right. And now we've got two references that we can now build on. So the next thing I need to add is a column. I'm obviously going to run out of space with this. Right. That removes the first line out of brainstorm. Or the first thing is the first step. So I do like puzzles. So I think we should tackle puzzles first because if we tackle puzzles, then it will easily give an answer to how hard our game would be. So I actually don't have any puzzles in mind yet because we haven't even made the game. I don't know what it's going to look like yet. Yeah, this should go in our ID. So later, what kind of puzzles you want? Yeah, we might want that for later. Right, we also want another column and puzzles. How do you really come to that? Bring this back up. Right, okay. So, okay, so I have then an RPG, and then one more thing. £37 is insane. £37 pounds, £37 and 8 pennies. What? Like, dude, I do have this card as well. I put it for a month cheap. £42 for a top up monkey. And I'm trying to guess how much. I'm just trying to guess how much the top up is. I mean, the monkey monkey is as well. The money. Okay, here we go. Right, there we go. Select import this image. Let's get in this a new column. And then we can put this for cards. Now I can delete the grades guys. The field of 5 million ideas. Cards, puzzles, and RPG. Okay, basically combining Undertale is an RPG. You want one with a bit more like Pokemon Barrier. That's like got like is more than I thought. And then these cards, I don't have these because these ones I have. Oh, damn it, I knew I had released around. Okay, party hat, the top hat, and the monkey monkey. Party hat, monkey, top hat, monkey monkey. Why do you look like that? Why do you rock monkey? You literally can't get that little color. Why can't you get that color? Why? Why did you add that? I wanted a brown rock monkey. But like, I don't even call rock monkey, but rock monkey red. So that's just an impossible color code. Unless he's just a brown monkey. That's why it's called moose monkey, because like, he looks a bit like a monkey and he's a monkey. No, he's a bold monkey. He's a bold monkey. Right, let's continue. And our next idea is that using these three ideas, we need to make something. But before we make something, I think we should get a 3D third person script in Unity. So let's start out with that. Project name. Okay. We need a name for our game. If our game doesn't have a name, then we can't make a game. I don't know. What was it? That. Here we go. Right, and then edit podcast website called Practice. Cardboard, pasteboard, board. I went to what I think. Dude, I'm playing with cards. Okay. The card. Are you ready? Terms for playing cards. What's the word? Playing cards? Cards. Yeah. Dude, what is a chameleon? Chameleon. I'm gonna know that. Chameleon. Chameleon. But this time, why is that? Why is that? What the playing card? I can't read that. Now, now, perplex. Yay! No, I think let's do one. Paradox. Well, there's actually in paradox based on quizzes. Right. Guys, you're not supposed to our oldest friend chat GPT. I'm not gonna steal it. Right, I think I've got a good idea. So I like this idea. So the way I actually got the info out is results. So I'm not go zoom in with the little thing. Or like a pet a pet a parent. Oh no, that's so that's one. Right, just an option. Not the something. Use a good name. I think so good. That I just don't know what to say. I was just looking and I realized something coming. And you see me to the old block. And it really reminds me like it's just long trying to play in your car. And like it's really sneaky random. Oh, that's a good idea. Guys, this is a decathon. Okay. Oh, guys, I know a card. You know, that card balloon. Okay, the king is watching. The king is watching. An Undertale is a tale of an Underground. just feels like we need a theme for our game. Our game doesn't have a theme yet. That's the problem. Oh. Nope, not what it was either. Okay, let's choose our boyfriend again. That's definitely thinking. Uh, challenging. And let's see. Off easily. Everything is an off easy game. Display those cards. Right. First, we have the off. So, we have here for off for the forest. Yeah, that's what I am. So, overcard. Undertale, overcard. Yay! Universal 3D. Here we go. Oh, yes, rainbow. Music thing. I was crazy. What is coding? Mmm. That makes no sense. Right. What are we going to do? Scripting logo. Scripting. Right, I'm gonna learn some things on YouTube. That was just an indentation to what a C sharp script is, I'm pretty sure. It's gonna roll. Oh, it's gonna roll. Okay, yeah, but I'm gonna roll this button. Create script tag. Okay. This is what we need to do. Right. Script size. Okay. kind of right, and you can understand. Not because something our tutorial, you can understand what the tutorial is telling us. Right, so. Right, YouTube's just loaded up because um I'll subscribe it. Okay. After the tutorial, I'm going to the link down. It's saying that we can learn how we get like recording. Like for example, if you learn from this, you can learn button inputs and then button inputs using text edit.
You can't get very far. With most games without.
No.
the player can move anywhere. You can't get very far with most games without some player movement. As in, literally, the player can move anywhere without it. So in this video, we'll create a solid third-person controller with both player and camera movement. Of course, just like with first-person controllers, how you want your movement is going to completely depend on your game. This of course raises a lot of questions, like do you want the rotation of your player to follow the camera? Do you want smooth or snappy movement? Should your player be able to strafe, run, jump, and so on? And depending on exactly what you need and how you answer these questions, your controller is going to look very different. So instead of doing something really complicated and specific to one thing, let's create a really solid base that works and that you can easily add more on top of. But first, this video is sponsored by Jason Wyman. Jason is an industry professional and he just created a new amazing course on game architecture. Movement script. Add another right. The height of the middle rig to something person player and drag it in to do his hat. And open up our window down to make it a bit small. And I'm gonna add in a design created by our awesome editor Thea. For the first week there'll be a 20% discount on the hoodie, and for those of you who sign up for Jason's course, you'll receive a free hoodie as well. Alright, remember to stretch and warm up because we're gonna get moving. So as you can see, I'm here in Unity and I've gone ahead and set up this really quick example scene. And of course the first thing that we want to add here is some kind of player character. You can of course use your own model if you want, but I'm just going to use some simple shapes in Unity for now. So let's go to the hierarchy here, let's right click, go 3D object, and I'm going to add in a cylinder. I'm going to hit reset on the transform here and place him somewhere in my level. I'm also just going to scale him up a bit on the X and Z, and let's make him a bit taller on the Y here. So something like 1.2 by 1.8 by 1.2. And we're not going to be needing the collider here since this is just going to act as our graphics. So let's go ahead and right click on our capsule collider and hit remove component. And this will definitely do for now. However, this gives no indication of what direction our player is currently facing. So let's go ahead and right click on this and create a quick cube object as well. And let's just scale this down to make it a bit smaller and place it somewhere in the front of our player so that we can see that this is the forward direction of our player. It's not pretty, but it will do for now. I'm also just going to add a quick red material, remove the box collider on our cube, and that's it for our graphics. Now let's take these objects here and place them under a parent object for our player. So let's right click, let's create an empty object, and let's first of all center this on our cylinder. So let's drag it under our cylinder, reset the position here, drag it out again, objects here and place them under a parent object for our player. So let's right click, let's create an empty object, and let's first of all center this on our cylinder, let's right click, let's create an empty object, and let's first of all center this on a cylinder. Let's drag it under a cylinder, reset the position here, the position, reset the
position here, drag it out again, and then drag our cylinder under our new game object. We then rename our game object to something like third person player. There we go. This way we've separated all of our logic, which is going to sit on the player himself, and all of our graphics, which are currently under the cylinder. And so we could also rename our cylinder here to graphics. Alright, so we're now ready to create some movement. And I think it's a good idea that we start with the camera. For this we'll be using Cinemachine, which is Unity's solution for creating interactive camera movement. It makes it really easy to set up pretty advanced camera behavior without writing any code. So let's go ahead and open up our window, and let's go to the package manager. Here we need to select all packages, and we can then search for Cinemachine. Simply click on it and go to the bottom to install and update. And once this is in your project, we can start using it. To do this, we go to the top under where it says Cinemachine, and here we can create all kinds of camera behavior. What we're going to be making is called a free look camera. Let's hit create free look camera, and as you can see, this creates a new game object with the free look camera component. As you can see, this is a separate object from our main camera. Let's go ahead and rename this to third person camera, And what this essentially is going to do is tell our main camera what to do. As you can see, our main camera now has a brain component, and it shows here that the current live camera is the new FreeLook camera. This means that it will currently follow the directions of our FreeLook camera. So let's go ahead and set this up. The first thing that we want to do is have it follow around our player. So let's simply take our third person player and drag it into the follow slot. We also want to have it constantly look at our player. So we also want to have and drag it in. Into the follow slot. We also want to have it constantly look at our player. So let's take our player object and drag it into the look at slot. And right away, if we switch to our game view, we can see that our camera is currently looking directly at our player. Let's just go ahead and dark this to the side here so we can see what's happening. Now, of course, currently our camera is way too close to the player. So to adjust this, we need to go down under where it says orbits. Now, we can think of the camera as having 3 orbits that we blend between. In fact, we can actually see these in the scene view. There's one at the bottom, one in the middle, and one at the top. And this allows us to adjust camera settings depending on the height of the camera. For example, it normally works well to have the camera move closer to the player when it gets near the ground. So to do this, we can position the bottom rig here near the ground and give it a pretty small radius. So let's start with that. So let's go over here under our bottom rig. Let's decrease the height here so that we get close to the ground. And let's set the radius to something like 12. There we go. Let's then set the height of the middle rig to something like maybe 5. And the radius to something like 17. And we can see immediately that because our camera is currently on the middle orbit, it gets farther away from the player because we increase the radius. And for the height here, let's set that to something like 14 and give it a radius of 12. We also want to set the binding mode here from symbol follow to world space. This is because that for this controller, we don't want the camera to be influenced by the rotation of the character. Instead, we want the character to move in the direction of the camera. And so our camera shouldn't be bound to our player, but to the world space instead. Now we can go ahead and preview our camera settings by simply going up under axis control and changing the y-axis value. As you can see, this moves our camera up and down. And it seems that there's an obstacle in the way here, so let's just take our third-person player and move it over so that we can see what's happening. Or we can just hit play and try it out using our mouse. And as you can see, our camera is moving in and out of the 3 different orbits. Awesome! Now, by default, this is going to